If you want to love others well and protect their value, then unfortunately, one of the things you're going to have to learn is how to apologize well. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg from Heart Tools, where we make it simple to build great relationships. And when you value other people, then it really does matter to you when you've behaved in a way that has been harmful to them. And unfortunately, that's just part of being human, right? We all do things, little things like accidentally cutting in line in front of someone at the grocery store because we didn't see which way the line was going, big mistakes, everything in between. We do things that harm people. And so if we want to communicate to them that that matters to us, we really need to know how to apologize well. And there are 3 simple steps to giving a good apology to someone that you care about. And the first key to giving a helpful apology is this: apologize for your behavior and not for the other person's emotional response to your behavior. Few things are less satisfying than when someone does something that's harmful to you and then says, well, I'm sorry you feel sad, or I'm sorry you're unhappy, or I'm sorry that scares you, right? As if the problem were not in their behavior, the problem is somehow inside of you, and the problem is your emotional reaction, when the reality is, if their behavior really was harmful, your emotional response is perfectly appropriate and healthy. So when you say, I'm sorry, the next thing out of your mouth should be a description of the behavior that you exhibited that was harmful to the other person. And by the way, the only thing we apologize for is our behavior. We are responsible for our behavior. We're not responsible for someone else's emotional reaction to our behavior. So there are times where you'll do something and it's not a destructive behavior. There's nothing wrong with what you've done, and yet it will bump someone in such a way that it will cause some of their wounding or pain to pop up, and they'll get angry, or they'll get sad, or they'll get scared. But that's not your fault because you didn't cause that wounding, right? So in those moments, you can empathize with what they're experiencing. You can empathize with the sadness or the fear or whatever they're going through without taking responsibility for it. It doesn't help anyone if you take responsibility for someone else's emotions when there is nothing that you did in your behavior that was wrong. So apologize for your behavior, not the other person's emotional reaction. The second key to a helpful apology is then allow them to have an emotional response to your behavior. A lot of times what happens is we'll apologize, and then the person will feel safe enough to really express their emotion. Or if they've already expressed some emotion, it will even intensify. The anger or the sadness will intensify. And there's a part of us that really, for our own sake, wants to skip over that painful part of their emotions and just say something like, well, I said I'm sorry. What else do you want from me, right? But it's really important to allow someone to have their emotional reaction if we've done something harmful, and to empathize with their emotional reaction. And the third key to a helpful apology is, when appropriate, to make promises, but only promises you can keep. Now, a lot of times this isn't necessary if it's a one-time thing in a really, tight relationship. But sometimes it's really important to make promises not to do this behavior again, or to make promises you can keep around the behavior. For example, you might not be able to say, I promise I will never drink again, or I promise I will never gamble again. I promise I will never take the credit card and overspend again, if that's a real problem for you. What you can promise is something like, I promise I will get a counselor in the next 2 weeks. I promise I'm going to start going to AA twice a week. I promise I'm going to get a support group or a sponsor and work through the 12 steps, right? There are promises that you can make around the thing that's hurting the person, even if you can't promise never to do that thing again. And it's really important to let them know it's that that I care about the fact that I've hurt you, and I'm going to do what I can and make the promises I can make not to hurt you anymore in the future. So 3 steps to a really helpful apology. Apologize for your behavior, not the other person's emotional reaction. Second, allow them to have an emotional reaction and empathize with it. And then third, if necessary, make promises to change, but only promises that you know that you can keep. So simple step to practice with this video is simply pay attention to when you are exhibiting behavior that is harmful to other people's value and apologize for that behavior. Practice that and see what a tremendous impact it makes on the people you're in a relationship with when they know they can trust you because you care so much about their value that you will own up to your mistakes quickly and apologize for it. What a trust builder that is in relationships. And it will make all of your relationships much healthier and much more life-giving. Simple steps, practice, practice, practice. That's what Heart Tools is all about.